welcome all. We'll get started here in just another minute or so. If you want to get started early, we've got a question for you to begin. And you can throw your answers in the chat. On a scale of 1 to 10, rate your comfort level with setting boundaries. 1 being not at all comfortable and 10 being very comfortable. Question is in the chat now. If you want to throw answers in there. Uh,
See a lot of sixes, couple fives.
Okay, cool. All right, we are going to go ahead and get started because it is the top of the hour. So if you're just joining us, we're doing a little activity in the chat. On a scale of 1 to 10, rate your comfort level with setting boundaries, 1 being not at all comfortable and 10 being very comfortable. Doug said he saw some sixes and some fives, so that's exciting. So keep those answers rolling in if you haven't answered already. But welcome to our Techspectations and Customer Service Workshop. We have a fun agenda planned, so we're going to start by answering that question in the chat. And just keep those answers rolling in. What are we seeing here, Doug?
Still a lot of fives.
Fives, okay.
So, about average, maybe slightly above average. There's
Average.
1 7.
Okay, we've got a very confident 7. I like it. So for those of you I haven't met, I'm Chelsea Summerlin, the ICFL's Digital Skills Library Consultant, and I'm joined today by a couple of other ICFL staff members, Dina, Doug, Dylan, and William. I'll let them introduce themselves here real quick.
Hi, everybody. I'm Dylan. I am the Deputy State Librarian. It's great to see you all today.
Yeah, I'm William. I'm the e-services program supervisor. Looking forward to this.
I'm Doug. I'm the library technology consultant here at the Idaho Commission for Libraries.
And I'm Dina Brown. I'm the adult services consultant here at the Commission.
Awesome. Thanks, y'all. Okay, so here is our agenda for today. We're going to do a quick introduction, which we're almost through. We're going to do some setting the stage. We'll talk about boundaries, preventions, and interventions. And we'll have a quick wrap up where I'll share a feedback survey for you all. So today's workshop is designed to be interactive. We hope that you can learn from us and each other by participating in the activities we have planned. During the prevention and intervention section, we'll split into breakout rooms and sorry, I lost my whole brain there. Just shut off. We're going to split into breakout rooms. And we hope that if you're able, you'll turn your camera on and use your mic during those sessions. If you're unable to for some reason, please engage in the chat. We hope that everyone can get more out of today's session if we all participate. Today's session is 1 hour and we'll get you all out of here by noon Mountain Time. The breakout rooms will not be recorded, but the main room where we are now is being recorded. Everyone who registered will receive a link to the recording and a handout after today's workshop. Throw questions in the chat as we go if they come up for you, and we'll address them if we have time. Might be opportunities to talk with each other in the breakout rooms as well for some of those questions. But if we don't have time, please feel free to call or email us. We're always happy to chat with you, especially if you've got particularly specific problem that you'd like just to bounce some ideas off. We are here for that. All right, so let's chat about the goals of the workshop. So we hope by the end of the workshop that you will be able to define your boundaries, set up preventions for interactions with learners, and use intervention techniques to get difficult situations back on track. We hope that participation in those breakout rooms and in the chat will help you all get a foundation for using the techniques and thinking about your boundaries. For those of you that are super confident on this, we hope that it will still give you maybe a few more things to pull out of your back pocket and try out a couple of new techniques. It's communication. There's always more to learn. So why are we talking about boundaries? So I sent out a participation survey for this a while back. Thanks to all of you who filled it out. It's really clear from your answers that, especially related to tech, that patrons expect you to, one, know it all, and two, have infinite time. And while I am sure that being all-knowing and in control of the time dimension would be super duper useful, most of us are constrained by lines at the desk and our own knowledge. So from our experience in your survey answers, it's clear that situations arise every day where we have to establish boundaries with patrons. And it's important for you, for the staff, because boundaries help you all have easier conversations with patrons. They improve your customer service skills and make it easier for you to do your job day in and day out. And for your learners or patrons, it's helpful for them to know what's happening. It allows them to adjust their expectations while still receiving the help that they asked for. Overall, this conversation around setting expectations and enforcing boundaries is designed to make it easier for everyone to engage and learn. From here, let's dive into defining our boundaries. So we're going to ask a few questions in the chat. So go ahead and throw answers in to the chat for some of these, and then we'll talk through some of your answers. So the first question here is, what can you help with? If somebody comes up to the desk with a tech question, what are you comfortable answering? What types of things are you like, yeah, that's 100% within my normal job duties? Pause for a moment and let those answers roll in. We got anything, Doug?
Dina says printing.
Printing? Okay.
So she's the only one that's responded so far. Oh,
Okay.
let's see. We're getting some answers now.
Cool.
We got searching the web, helping with Word, other word processing, typing, basic digital skills, printing, helping with email, setting up Libby, more printing,
It's a
and
common
basic
one, isn't it?
computer. Yep. A lot of printing. And I remember those days from my public library time. There was a lot of printing.
There always is a ton of printing. Yep. So yeah, printing, scanning, research, and tech tutoring, depending on your time, are all probably examples of things that are relatively easy to help with and probably within your normal job duties, things that you expect to get questions for at the desk. So thank you all for those answers. We're going to move to our second question here. This one is maybe a little more tricky. What can't you help with? What is beyond your abilities or expertise? What types of things are you like, not touching that?
Filling out job applications.
Okay, yeah, that's a good one. Yes, if somebody needs computer skills for that job and you filled out the application for them, that's not gonna work out so well for them if they get that job.
We've got writing resumes,
Same.
recovering personal passwords. Yes,
Ooh, yeah, that
also a
one can be
very common one.
yes, and often very hard to do. There, you get to a certain point recovering a Google password and you're just stuck. There's nowhere to go from here.
Now this is an interesting, typing someone's handwritten letter for them into Word.
Yes, yes, that does seem like that would take too much of your time to help somebody with, for sure, for sure.
And also, inputting credit card information for a purchase.
Ooh, yeah. We don't want to know people's credit card numbers. That's a great one.
And accessing a document to print from an iPhone. As an Android user, yes, I would also have a trouble with that one.
Okay. Awesome. Yes. So these are some fabulous answers. So these boundaries can be set by you. If you're an Android user like Doug and you just refuse to learn what an iPhone is, then maybe you just can't print. But typically they include all the topics that we genuinely don't have the expertise to tackle, like medical questions. I had somebody ask me what they should do for their type 2 diabetes. I'm not touching that. with the 10-foot pole. I don't know the answer to what you should do for that. And legal advice. Also had somebody be like, can you help me get divorced? No, no, I cannot, right? Some of these questions can also fall into categories of things that are illegal or very ill-advised. Somebody mentioned entering your credit card information. I have had people be like, can you help me enter my credit card information into this clearly scam site? I'm not helping, don't have to help people participate in a scam. They're like, no, it's not a scam. I'm gonna buy this thing. I'll be like, okay, but I'm not gonna help you do it, right? So there's just some gray area here, and maybe our third question might help with answering that. So the third question, does your organization have policies and or procedures around this topic? Wait for some answers to roll in on that one.
Seeing some no's, seeing some yeses. No. Yes.
A mix. That makes
Definite.
sense.
Yeah, definite mix on this one.
Okay. So that makes sense. Each organization is going to be different and have different policies and procedures. So some things to think about, or to maybe talk to your administration about if you're not, are you allowed to touch patron devices? Like Doug might not want to learn an iPhone, but maybe he's not allowed to go into somebody's settings because there's a liability concern there. There are several libraries that don't let you touch patron devices because of that liability. So you have to keep that in mind as well. And then there's also general things like a code of conduct. Probably the majority of your organizations have a code of conduct, a basic expectation for how your patrons or your learners need to interact with you. And if that tech interaction is going south and it is against the code of conduct, then that's also a thing to keep in mind for a clear written down boundary for you all to enforce. There's also better ways to answer the patron's questions sometimes. Does your organization have book a library in sessions where maybe you can help them do that typing for a half an hour on the computer and you're not taking up valuable time where you've got other people asking questions at the desk? Is there tutoring, classes, or other programming that's more suited to those questions? So just an opportunity to think about how you can set your own personal boundaries and how your organization's boundaries might give you some options for getting through some of these stickier situations. So our next thing here is we are going to have what we hope is a little fun time here. Dylan and I are going to do a quick run through and we're going to model why these boundaries are really important. All right. So our first event here is going to be called Off the Rails, and hopefully you'll see why. All right, Dylan, you ready?
I'm ready, Chelsea. You ready?
I'm ready. All right,
All
and
right.
scene.
Good afternoon.
I need help on the computer.
Happy to help. What are you hoping to do?
I need help writing a business plan for my dog's Instagram.
Great. Let's go over to the computer and I will show you some resources with templates for a business plan.
No, my dog is unique, so I need a very specific, personalized business plan. Let me start from the beginning. You won't understand otherwise. And I do best when I'm talking things through anyway. You should really take notes. So Mr. Fluffles is the best, most wonderful
Okay,
dog in the whole
well,
world.
I want to make sure I can help these other people.
You haven't asked me yet. My tax dollars pay your salary, and Mr. Fluffles deserves your undivided attention. People need to hear Mr. Fluffles' stories. Why won't you help me?
I can help you get started, but I won't be able to help you write the whole business plan.
What is even the point of you? Mr. Fluffles is going to Instagram about this. And see. Okay. So hopefully you saw that didn't go super well for Dylan here. So let's try again and let's see if our next rounds might go a little more smoothly. All right. And see.
Good afternoon.
I need help on the computer.
Happy to help. What are you hoping to do?
I need help writing a business plan for my dog's Instagram.
That's great. We can definitely help you with that. So first, let me check what kind of business plan you want for your dog's Instagram. Do you want a traditional business plan? That's the kind lenders and investors want to see and includes a lot of detail. Or do you want a simpler startup plan? That's more of a high level plan and is pretty quick to write. Investors may ask for more information though.
I need a traditional business plan for Mr. Fluffles.
Great. Let's go over to the computer and I will help you find templates for a traditional business plan. I only have about 5 minutes, but we can get started. If you feel you need more help after that, feel free to come back and check with us. We can't write the business plan for you, but we're here to help find resources to make Mr. Fluffle's Instagram a success. Hopefully by the end of your session on the computer, you will have a good outline. Does that sound good to you?
That should work.
5 minutes later. So it looks like we've got a good start, but I need to head back to the desk, but you are welcome to keep working.
But I need more help now.
Okay, but I only had 5 minutes and I do need to get back to the desk to help other people.
You haven't even asked about Mr. Fluffles.
It seems you're getting frustrated. I understand that Mr. Fluffle's Instagram is really important to you and we want it to be a success, but it is a busy time of day for us right now. If it slows down, let us know if you have more questions. We're happy to help you and Mr. Fluffles.
Fine.
Okay, great. Thank you.
And see. Okay. So as you could probably tell, I'm still not super enthused, but Dylan spent 5 minutes helping me. And Mr. Fluffles is not going to Instagram about his performance. So things went a little bit better this next time around, even though I might not be the happiest patron you talked to today. All right, I am going to pass it on to Doug to talk about those preventions.
Thanks, Chelsea. Yeah, so it's important to head off these issues, before they occur. And so there's a few strategies that you can use to do that. Um, the first thing you want to do is get some agreement on your time limits. So if you noticed, Dylan er, um, mentioned that he only had a little bit of time. So if you only have a couple minutes, you need to communicate that to the patron. So again, for example, that sounds great. I can help for about 5 minutes before I need to return to the desk. Okay. Again, the patron may not be super happy, but at least you've set those boundaries. The next is you want to get agreement on participation guidelines. So let the patron know that those boundaries if the situation calls for it. So if they're asking for things outside of your expertise, tell them how much you'll be able to help. An example is it sounds like you're looking for medical research on diabetes, right? Okay, I can help you get started on Medline Plus, but I'm not a doctor, so I can't give you any medical advice. Will that work? Um, and then also finally you want to get agreement on any of the outcomes. So ensure that you and the patron are on the same page about what you have accomplished when you're done with helping them. Another example is, so you're interested in updating your resume on Word, right? Great. I can help you get started on the computer for about 5 minutes. Does that sound good to you? So now that you've kind of heard those guidelines and what to get agreements on, we're going to be sending you out into breakout rooms to practice. So you'll go around and practice setting boundaries by getting agreement, and an ICFL staff member will be in each breakout room to help facilitate, and we'll give you about 10 minutes for this particular activity. Oh, and sorry, one last thing. So the scenario, when we do send you out into your breakout room, is I need help on the computer to write a business plan for my dog's Instagram. So what we already witnessed, but we'll go ahead and practice that amongst yourselves.
Everybody back from the breakout rooms, right? Okay. I will pass it to Dylan then to talk about our next section.
Great. Thank you, everybody. So yes, we have one more section. So Doug just covered preventions, how you can kind of establish up front, but things can still go off the rails, even if you've established preventions. So you might need to make an intervention to try to get things back on track if your preventions were not successful or if the other person is not honoring your prevention. So here's a few ways that you might try to kind of reinforce your boundaries through interventions. The first is to try and regain focus just to make sure, are we all doing and talking about the same thing at the same time? Are we all on the same track? Do we know what's going on? So, a way you might handle that is just to try to redirect back to what the original point of the question was. And, you could say something, non-committal. Oh, that's interesting. And then do you have any other questions about setting up your resume? If you were talking about a resume, trying to, okay, get a question to get back towards where we're on focus. Another way you could reinforce boundaries is to just to ask and say what's going on, just to if they're seeming like they're having an emotion or a feeling about something, name it, spell it out there. It could be a little uncomfortable or awkward, but it can help like diffuse it a little bit as well. So if everybody can hear what's going on, then that gives you a chance to address it and then keep going with the thing. So it might be that, oh, it seems like you're getting frustrated here. Technology can be hard to learn, so it might be important to work on this later when you're feeling less frustrated or when you have the energy. I think addressing it in the room can help folks, acknowledge, they can feel acknowledged about it, and then you can help move on from there. Another thing is to enforce those process agreements. So that goes back to your preventions. Turn back to your preventions if they are not following those. So remind them of previous agreement or ground rule. So if you said I had 5 minutes, reminding them, okay, our time is almost up. I've got to have to get back there. Or I'm not going to be able to help you diagnose your medical condition. That's not something I can do. But here's how I can help you get started looking for that. So that may look a couple different ways just to talk, you might just reinforce what you set up earlier. Is that we talked about that I can only help you get started. Well, we can't give you legal advice, but I can help you get started researching. That's just to, again, refer back to what you established earlier to remind them. Another important thing on reinforcing boundaries is how you're using your body language. It's hard to do obviously in a Zoom environment, but when you're in person with someone and working with them, is your body language reinforcing the boundaries you set up, and is it helping work with the language you're using? So trying to be at the same level as your patron. You're not towering over them. You're not underneath them. That if they're sitting down, try to sit next to them so you're also on the same level. Don't go around crossing your arms or scowling, and don't get into their spaces. All those kind of general things we think about that kind of also can help reinforce the atmosphere you're trying to create and helping them. And then lastly, an important thing to think about here is these four terms: accept, legitimize, deal with, or defer. So anything that the patron's saying, if it's something that you don't have to just agree or disagree, you can accept it and then move on if you need to, or address it if you need to, or just defer it to a different time and place. So, again, they could say something, it may not be something, I don't really want to agree or disagree with it, but you can just say, oh, okay, or non-committal, that's interesting, or I see, and then move on from there to say, what do you want to do? Do you want to defer it? Do you want to try to deal with it? So an example might be, oh, you don't think this is the right resource? That's okay. You might be right. Would you be willing to try for another minute or two to see what happens? So you're acknowledging that, okay, they're not, they're disagreeing, but you're not agreeing or disagreeing that this is the right resource. You're acknowledging that they think that, and then you try and get them to move on and try something else maybe, or try it a little bit longer. So those are just some interventions you can think about. And we're going to send everyone back to the same breakout room you were just in. So you will have the same folks you were just with. We'll have another 10 minutes and you get to go around and people can talk about what it's like reinforcing boundaries using one or more of those techniques. So something you've done in the past or something you might try to do. And again, your same ICFL staff person will be with you, and we'll have those 10 minutes before we get brought back for the end of our workshop. So Hold on for just 1 second and we'll get you sent back to your breakout rooms. And let's see here. Okay, and here we go. I think we're all back, Chelsea.
Awesome. All right. Thank you all. I hope this was helpful for you. I hope that you had fun chatting in your breakout rooms and amongst yourselves. We have reached the end of our scheduled content for today, earlier than I thought. So well, I hope you enjoyed today's session. Our contact info is on the screen. I'll leave it up for just a few minutes. Allison is a fabulous resource. She wasn't able to be here today, but you can always reach out to Allison too. And we just really appreciate you taking the time. I hope somebody will throw a feedback survey into the chat. Looks like Dylan might be on that. Appreciate that. So if you have any thoughts about this workshop or other things that you'd like us to run, we would love to hear those. But I am going to quit sharing my screen and I will give us a few minutes for questions. If folks have questions, feel free to raise your hand, come off of mute, type them in the chat. It's got a quiet group this afternoon.
Chelsea, I've got a
Dylan.
question. Will we be getting a copy of the recording of this workshop?
Yes, everybody who registered will receive a copy of the recording and a handout with some of these tips on it for y'all. So that will come out probably next week. Ooh, that's a great question, Brittany. If you are at an organization that has policies or procedures, can you share those? That sounds fabulous. If nobody has any right now, we can make sure that we include a couple of example policies in that follow-up email too. I think, thank you, Aubrey, for the feedback. To do more workshops like these, it's like you read my mind. Depending, we have some plans and some works, and if you all liked this, that's brings joy to our hearts. We hope we had fun, so we hope you did too. And yeah, we have some plans for doing some more workshops like this. Maybe this one again. Get different folks. It is fun to participate and to chat with you all as well. Yes, yes, it does. Yes, we only had an hour, so we did not have a lot of time for practice. So definitely useful to get into groups and to get a particularly ornery patron that's going to keep you on your toes for a little while. Most of us probably have a few good stories in our back pocket that we can use as practice sessions. It's always good to chat with folks and get some ideas and see how other people would handle it. I don't know about the rest of you, but I really enjoyed the breakout rooms and hearing everyone's unique flavor on how they would handle that and what types of things that they would address. Really fun to see different personalities and different styles coming through. So yeah. Great. Thanks, Megan. Glad to hear that. All right. Leave the room open for a few more minutes if anybody's got any questions, comments, other things they'd like to see. Thanks, Vanessa. Thanks, Madison. All right. Okay, y'all. We'll give it till I'm watching 11:52 and then we'll just wrap. Okay. All right, y'all. Thanks so much for coming. Fill out that feedback survey if you can. Appreciate everybody's time today and their participation in the breakout rooms. This was super fun, and we hope you all had a good time and learned something. So we will see you next time.